Namaste everyone, and welcome back to my channel IndigoAngel. I am here at Saqqara, which is the city of the dead here in Egypt. So I'm staying in Heliopolis, which is the city of the sun, which would be the city of the living. But I'm here now at Saqqara, which is considered the city of the dead. So I'm going to be doing a fascinating energy update here. I got a lot of really good information for you guys on the black sun, which is an atomic helium spectrum that I'm going to talk to you guys about, which is a part of the dematerialization process, which is a part of the process of death, and also the process of something that you can achieve in the living during this life by going through dematerialization in your living body. So it's a process of ascension, ultimately, where you are riding the spectrum scales of helium. So I'm going to talk to you more about that in my energy update. But I'm doing a little vlogging today, a little blogging. And pardon me, I am like hot. I am walking, so I'm going to be sweating. I'm going to be out of breath a little bit. But essentially, I'm going right now to the Imhotep Museum. So I'm hoping to get some good footage for you guys today, see what I can find. I am here by myself, so it's like I'm a rare sight for everyone to see. Like, people look at me like, I cannot believe you are here. Like, what are you doing here? But yeah, but everybody's been kind of accommodating. I actually might be able to get a motorcycle ride up to the top of the pyramid. So there's 11 step pyramids here. This is where essentially all of the kings of the first, second, third, and fourth dynasty were buried. Not just kings, but pharaohs, shepherds, pilgrims. This is the ancient burial ground of Egypt. So it's pretty awesome, guys. I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm getting really close to the entrance of the museum, so
Right.
okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so it looks like the museum is actually here. This is the actual museum. And I don't know why I just got so quiet. But yeah, we're about to go in there, guys, so we'll go check it out together. But back to talking about doing things by yourself. There is such a surge of empowerment. And I don't know, almost to the point I could really get used to this, because I experience things so much more personally and energetically when I am alone. But here we are. I'm entering the museum. There is literally nobody in here. I am in here all by myself. This is incredible. Wow, I don't even know where to start.
So this is the foot of the King Djoser, the king who built the step pyramid in Saqqara, the great pyramid in Saqqara. This is the king, he built that pyramid. At the bottom of this stone, we can see the title of the King Djoser was written in hieroglyphic. But the most strange thing that we see was written up on this stone, the name of Imhotop.
Okay.
So this is the first time to see a normal person write his name on the statue of the king. This represents an honor from the king to this an engineer.
Wow. And there's a wasp here,
yes,
too. So what does the wasp symbolism mean to...
The power of the king to control the people of North and the people of South of Egypt.
Okay.
In the history, Egypt was divided into two parts. Lower part and upper part. Lower, this is the south, and upper, this is the north. So the king used this was sign, refers to the scepter or the power of the king.
Wow, okay. Thank you.
You can see different style for the structure and the engineering for the complex of the King Zeus.
I can't believe I'm the only one in here.
You can see the first plan for the building before build it.
Oh wow, okay.
This represents the arch, the circle shape to put upon the pillar.
Wow, okay.
This is statue of the King Zeus.
So which dynasty is this king from?
Three dynasty. Yeah.
The third dynasty?
Three dynasty.
Three dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
The old kingdom. In front of this statue over there, we can see the small statue for Imhotep.
Okay.
It means that the engineer received the order or instructions from the King Djoser.
Designer and project manager of King Djoser's complex and father of the stone-built architecture, Imhotep will also be remembered as a scholar and a wise man, his fame passed on from generation to generation. A model for scribes in the New Kingdom, nearly 1,000 years after his death, he became, in the late period, a son of Ptah, the deity of Memphis, and particularly worshipped at Saqqara as a healer god. His sanctuary there welcomed numerous patients who came to hope for a cure. Wow. You know, I've been praying a lot lately for just healing. So it's interesting I find myself here.
Now we are standing in front of the frieze. That is the decoration at the top of the Great Wall, or the tomb of the king. On the facade or the main entrance of the tomb of the King Djoser, we can see at the top this is a frieze, a kind of decoration decorated with the venom snake.
Venomous.
Yeah. Venomous snake that is represent the protection from the king against the enemies of the king, to bring the poisons against the enemies of the king, a kind of protection.
It's interesting because yesterday I was just talking about wanting to get like a tattoo of like a venomous cobra on my arm for like protection.
Yes. Also, it was decorated for the crown of the king. So every statue or crown of the king is of all the Egypt, you can see the venomous snakes.
The cobra facade of King. How do you say Djoser? Say it for me.
Yeah.
Djoser's?
Yeah, that is the facade of the King Djoser.
Djoser's
Yeah.
South Tomb. Okay. The niched facade of the South Tomb's cult chapel differs from the other walls in a big courtyard only by the addition of a magnificent frieze of cobras. Raised with the hood spread, appearing ready for attack, these sacred snakes protected the king by releasing heat and light and striking terror into the hearts of his enemies. The model for this type of facade consisted of alternating brick pilasters and long vertical openings closed by blinds rolled up on wooden cylinders in the small windows above. Interesting. The cobra is quite the theme here. So is that why it's considered the city of the dead? Is because the venom brings death?
Yes. Here we can see the imagination for the pillars. You can see the pillars at the complex or the pyramid of the King Djoser. You can see the pillar like a circle. It was represented a group of plants. It was used to build the hut before building the house. In old history, they used to live inside small houses made of wood or made of plants. So the same design for the pyramid or the building, it takes the same similar for the all the houses that build from the plants.
Okay. So architecture. And this is a wall, an important wall.
This is a great wall, was discovered inside the tomb underground. It was decorated with faience, the blue faience tiles.
How did they get it blue?
Yeah, they get the different colors. They get the ancient Egyptian could extract the different colors from different materials.
The limestone walls.
You can see the green color here and the blue color and the white color. They get the blue color from the hematite stone. They get the white color from the limestone. They get the blue color from the coal or the burned wood. You can see the decoration of the king here with the titles of the King Djoser. He is visiting his temple in Edfu. That is the decoration. The remains of this decoration, you can see the details here.
Okay.
Which country?
Very connected to avian. Me?
Which country? Your country?
America.
America. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
From California, Texas.
Denver.
Denver at the south.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Midwest. Mountain range. Yeah. Very awesome. Okay guys, so we're gonna come in here, next room. He seems to be a very nice guide. It's really, I'll be honest with you, it's really helpful to have the guides because there's just so much here that I don't, I'm connecting on a spiritual and an emotional and an energetic level, but the guides seem to be helpful with all of the actual information. False door of Hesi, private tombs of the Old Kingdom, and later false doors served as the principal focus for the cult, carved in imitation of a real door, here closed with the representations of two bolts. These were decorated with images of the cult recipient, along with prayers requesting a perpetual supply of offerings. Hesi, who was a nobleman of the king and overseers of rows, is shown here seated at an offering table filled with food. Okay. Food boxes in the shape of geese. Their offering plate. We have miniature vessels, little pots, little canopic jars. We have the tomb of Kenu, scribe, treasure of the god of the pyramid of Saqqara, regulator of a fill of the pyramid of Teti. His tomb intact was discovered at Saqqara in 1906-1907, east of the pyramid of Teti, end of the Herod-Politan period, beginning of the Middle Kingdom dynasty. Okay. Here's some more stuff. Mastaba, a freestanding tomb, the superstructure of which resembles a rectangular mass of brick or stone with sloping walls forming a stylized mound of earth as a house of dead. From the earliest examples at Nakata until the end of the Middle Kingdom, their size varies and they are niched on all sides with richly colorful paintwork intended to represent a royal palace or divine fortress. They were probably covered with a vaulted top with raising side walls. The base is made of brick and protrudes at the front. It is surrounded by a brick enclosure wall and rows of servants' tombs. The core of the mastaba is divided by cross walls up to 50 cells. The 5 central cells below the surface are burial chambers and magazines. They were constructed as open pits and roofed after the burial using heavy beams and then filled in. Interesting. Canopic jars. We have just some more everyday things. This is just a mask covered by plaster of Nebet, the protective goddess Nephthys, who was often represented while protecting the head of the deceased. Wow. So Nephthys was representing and protecting the head of the deceased. That's really interesting.
You can see the model of a statue of a Sphinx, similar to the Sphinx at Giza.
Yeah.
That was for the King Pepi I. Behind him, you can see a unique scene. This scene represents the starvation. Starvation for some people or the enemies of the Egypt at this time, in 6th dynasty.
Wow.
From the time of the King Wanis.
That's pretty surreal.
Yes, you can see the
starving men of Yunus.
The starving for the muscles of the chest and the stomach.
Interesting.
You can see this is represent the top of the scepter to banish the enemy of the king.
Okay.
And this is some jewelry for the Queen Ibut the First. Ibut the First, this is one of the wives of the king. A small vermilion represents the symbol of eternity in the next world. That's one of jars. It was discovered from the funerary of the king.
The eternity of Pharaoh, what does that mean?
Yeah. For what? This is the head of the statue for the king.
I'm gonna read that, okay?
Yeah.
I'm recording for YouTube.
Yeah.
The pyramid texts are engraved in the tombs of the last kings of the Old Kingdom to aid the passage and rebirth of the king into eternity. Prayers, practical advices, magic formula are mixed in incantations to help the deceased to merge in the personality of the creator. By associating the architecture of the pyramid complex and the religious formula, the royal privilege of eternal life will seem to the Egyptian an inevitable epilogue and most effective sought until the end of the Egyptian civilization. After dynasty in the Middle Kingdom, the royal family loses the exclusivity of the formula. Modified, transformed, adapted, the pyramid texts are used by private individuals on their sarcophagus. The coffin texts will then influence from the New Kingdom, the Book of the Dead. That's very interesting because this is exactly what we're talking about in my energy update to come, is the processes of dematerialization and becoming an eternal atom. So it's the end of the golden age.
Some decorations, sandals for the queens, and this special jar from the copper, and different things used for the king.
Okay. Ooh.
That is the mummy.
A real mummy?
Yes. Mummy for the King Merin-Ra, the first.
King Merin-Ra, the first. This is his mummy. Wow. How tall do you think he was?
100 meters, 100 centimeters, 190 centimeters.
Interesting. He looks small, but I'm like wondering how much you lose when you mummify in your height.
That is the statue for the king, for the god Bitah Sukr Uzir. It means this is immersion for three gods. The god Bitah, the main god of Memphis, the first capital of Egypt, and the god Sukr, that is the main god for the cemetery or necropolis of Saqqara, the tomb at the top, and the god Osiris, the god of the next world. So this is a mix between the three gods, symbol of power and symbol for enjoying in the next world, in the second world after death.
Okay.
This is a maquette for small pot and the bearer of the offering. Bearer of the offering, you can see over there the lady behind this man. She is carrying a small basket, and inside it the different kind of offering. Some offering including vegetables, some offering including meats and different kind of food. Some discoveries from the tomb of Ibria. Ibria, he is one of the famous person, lived during the time of the king Imhotep III and the king Imhotep IV in the New Kingdom, the mission of Saqqara. From right side here, you can see that a mummy was wrapped with linings and covered with cartonnage. Cartonnage, it was made from plaster with cotton or linens, but it was decorated with the different kinds of god and the goddess for ancient Egyptian. You can see in the middle here the main scene in the middle, upon the stomach of the person, the dead person, the goddess Ma'i, goddess of justice in the next world. And you can see the main portraits for the person to help them or to help him to enjoy in the next world, to help the soul to recognize upon the body of the person.
Okay.
One of the most important tombs in Saqqara we discovered, this is the tomb of the Dr. Carr.
Of a doctor?
Yeah, he was really a doctor. You can see this small tools. These small tools like the tools that the surgeons use nowadays in medicine.
Interesting. So this is the tomb of a surgeon.
Yes. Also, we know that from the inscriptions of hieroglyphic language that decorated and explained for us his titles and his positions.
So we know they had physicians. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is a doctor. We discovered this kashi from the bronze stone around the big statue for the goddess Isis. So in the middle one, this is the goddess Isis. More different is the same statue, 3 in the right, in the left side from the big statue. And God Anubis, god of mummification, God Osiris, god of the next world, the god Betah, and the god Super, the goddess Bastet, like the cat, and the Nephthys. This is the sister of the goddess Isis.
Okay. These are actual tombs?
Yeah, this different stela and the big statue for the person called Bismatic from the late period. We discovered it in the site of the Cairo University excavation or the Cairo University mission in Saqqara. Because we have different missions in Saqqara, some missions belongs to American mission and some mission belongs to Cairo University missions, some mission belongs to Polish mission and Japanese mission. Big coffin made of wood.
So this is the coffin of
Yes.
Imhotep.
Not the mummy inside it, but we can see it was decorated with hieroglyphic signs and hieroglyphic languages.
No mummy was found inside this expensive coffin of high quality wood. According to the inscription on the lid, its original owner was Imhotep. Above the hieroglyphs is a text in Demotic script, which came into use in the late period. All right. Okay.
That is a harpoon discovered by the Polish mission. This harpoon, it was used for hunting in the sea or in the river Nile. It was used to kill the hippopotamus, the hippo.
Oh, wow. Okay. It killed hippos.
Yeah, so to
Wow.
kill crocodiles.
That's pretty intense.
This is a decoration to show us how they used it by the ancient Egyptians. This is the man who can come from here. The man is holding the harpoon with his right hand to hunt the fish or the hippo under the water. Because the hippos refers to the evils of ancient Egyptian. Refers to the god of the evils.
Was there a lot of hippos?
Yeah, evils. So it means the king would like to get right from.
Okay guys, so that concludes my tour of the Imhotep Museum. And it was pretty fascinating. I think some of the main things that kind of stuck out to me that seemed to be very important is just the desire to achieve like immortality, the desire to achieve an eternal state, and the processes that they went through with mummification, with tombing, with going through all these processes very ritualistically and very sacredly. And it's so hot. I'm literally just like dripping sweat everywhere. But no, it's very sacred, and it's very forgotten. Just put it that way. It's very forgotten in terms of what we focus on now as a society, what we focus on now as a civilization. That it's a very forgotten thing, and it really, I feel, stems from crucifixion wounds. It stems from being crucified so that you are not allowed to achieve these levels of consciousness and noble desires in life. And so that's ultimately what the J seal removal is about. It's removing those implants that you received through your bloodline, received through your genetics, received through the limitation of the ascension capacities within your DNA. And so this was something that the ancient Egyptians didn't have to deal with. You know, this was like prior to all that. So it's almost like it was just a right. And it really wasn't even just a royalty right. Like, it's expressed through royalty because they were the ones rich enough to leave these monuments and these things behind for us to study. But ultimately, this was something, these were processes that were achieved by everyone. The pilgrims, the shepherds, the rich, the poor. And so yeah, it's really nice to feel that, honestly, to just kind of connect to it. But as of right now, I'm walking down. I'm trying to get a motorcycle ride up to the pyramids. It is quite a far walk here in the desert, under the Egyptian sun, under these high solar, infinite platinum spectrums. But yeah, guys, so walking down now to get on my motorcycle ride. So I will meet you guys at the pyramids.